My virtual obsession, my romantic thriller, is now available on Amazon and other online retailers. This book explores the intersection of loneliness, love, and how chasing perfection through technology can lead to fantasy and reality colliding. My virtual obsession out now.
Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul.
Hi everyone, it's Crestani with another episode of Willow Healing Matters, and today I am delighted to introduce to you the beautiful Laurel Leaman, who is an elemental realm oracle and facilitator at the Lightbody Academy. In the early 2000s, while doing scientific research on crop circles for BLT Research, these circles began to appear in Laurel's own backyard. Interdimensional beings also began coming forward at this time. These experiences began a deep dive into the mystical on many levels. After spending 18 years as a teacher and practitioner of an Eastern tradition, Laurel began having even more close interactions and relationships with interdimensional, extraterrestrial, and elemental beings, including Sasquatch. These beings connected her with the Christina Schwind, founder of and director of Lightbody Academy, where she continues to cultivate and share these rare and extraordinary relationships today. Her role in Lightbody Academy is to mentor those awakening to other realms and their beings, guiding them gently toward their own personal experiences and connections with the unseen for the benefit of all. Laurel is also an accomplished energy practitioner and healer, focusing on energetic hygiene, which enhances one's ability to cultivate clear, clean, and impeccable relationships of all kinds. So a big welcome to the show, Laurel.
Thank you. Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So straight away, how did you feel walking into your backyard to find crop circles suddenly appearing in your own yard?
Well, that was interesting because I've been in quite a few at that point, and I knew, of course, what to look for, and I had a microscope, and in the back corner of my yard was this grass growing. It was very thin. It's called couch grass and very tall, but it's really hard to see the nodes, and that's where you see where the plant changes have happened when the energy comes in. So electrical, electromagnetic, microwave energy, swirling energy like this. And when it comes into a crop circle or into a crop, it explodes the nodes because it superheats the water to about 400 degrees. And the water needs somewhere to go, so it blows out the nodes. So you get these little cavities in the nodes they call expulsion cavities. And so I picked a bunch up and went in the house and roasted out my microscope, and sure enough, they were in the grass. So it was pretty shocking. And then so I grabbed this grass, I went and sat in the house, I figured out what was going on. I was like, oh, what the heck is happening? And then my husband, who didn't believe me, really at the time, walked in the house and said, I think that considering what you're studying, you might want to come and see what's in the back corner. So he actually found it himself, which was great. But then they just kept coming after that. And they came every year. Yeah, it was very weird. Weird things were happening in general at that time. So I was starting to get used to it, I guess you'd say.
Do you feel it was their invitation for you to connect with them at a deeper level?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was all very new to me at the time. So I knew they were wanting to connect, but I didn't have any idea who it was, what their intentions were, that sort of thing. And now it would be a whole different scenario. If that happened, I would approach the situation in a different way. Not that I approached it really in any way. I just kind of waited to see what was going to happen because I just had no experience, no clue, no anything at that time. It was a very different time.
Fascinating. And what does it mean that you're an elemental oracle? What does that even mean?
Well, it's an intuitive. Basically, you can intuit what relationships with other people are with their elemental beings. So any elemental beings that are around them, sort of history they have with those people, where they want to take that relationships, different beings involved, that sort of thing. It's intuiting all of those things with a person.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
And I know you work with Sasquatch and with fairies. How did that come about?
Oh boy. Well, so the fairies, I always knew they were there, and I I would search for them everywhere when I was a child, but I never saw them with my eyes. But I had this feeling, I know they're there. And I felt like I was just missing them all the time. Anyway, of course, then I grew up and, life gets real and things happen and sort of put it out of my mind. And then the lady who I was working with at BLT Research, which stands for Burke, Levengood, and Talbot, and anyone who knows something about crop circles may know about BLT Research. They've done all the scientific research on crop circles. Pretty much up to this point, I don't think anyone's really doing it much anymore. Anyway, Nancy Talbot had sent me, they're in Cambridge, by the way, she's in Cambridge, audio of someone talking to a Sasquatch, or the Sasquatch talking to this person. And something inside me just lit up. Like I could feel it all through my body, and it just kept going like, wow, 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 So that, okay, there's something to this. And I'm thinking, where can I find them? I don't want to go into the mountains by myself. Who's going to go with me? All these questions started coming up. But I've been walking at this wetlands for about 20 years, and there had been crop circle research done there. We'd had crop circles there. It was very grassy. And I was walking around, and I knew pretty much every square inch of this place because of that. And all of a sudden, I look to my right, and I see a Sasquatch structure. And if people don't know that this about Sasquatches, they build structures out of wood. So out of what they find in the forest, they'll build structures, or they'll build little glyphs on the ground out of wood. They'll use rocks and string and whatever they can find, different things in their structures. So right beside me was this structure. And so I thought, oh my gosh, and I started reading all these books, and then I started seeing more things in the wetlands. And then I started a gifting place with them, and that's when things really started taking off. So you can start a gifting place. I can help people learn how to do this too, start their own gifting place with the Sasquatch being or clan. So I cultivate those relationships with people too. So I help them cultivate their relationships with the elemental realms and Sasquatch. Anyway, I started this gifting spot, and then things just started happening sort of rapid fire, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's a hard thing for people to break through that this is real, barrier. And that gifting really helps people bring that into their 3D so they can see this is actually happening to me. This isn't nothing.
For people who don't know what we're talking about, could you explain what Sasquatch, what it is, or like the common terms and that sort of thing?
Okay, so Sasquatch, there's so many, and there's even more terms now. People are using native terms. Something new that's being bandied about is called SABE, S-A-B-E, that I've just heard sort of through different people. Yowie would be down in Australia.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, yes. Yeah, we don't call them that in Canada. We call them King Sasquatch. Because the term Sasquatch was coined here. They were called Saskets by the native people in Canada. And that eventually turned over to Sasquatch by, I think it was a elementary school teacher not far from where I live that coined that phrase.
And from my understanding, they are beings that travel through portals in trees. Is that right?
I think they can do it all kinds of ways. I think trees definitely are one way that they can come out. They can come through rocks. They can basically pop in and out of pretty much anywhere. So an example of that would be, well, I was doing this gifting spot, and of course I'm at the beginning of my relationships, and at this point I don't know anyone else who's doing this, or even if there is anyone else who's doing this. And there are literally hundreds of people all over the world now having these interactions with Sasquatch. It's not uncommon anymore. So I'm kind of talking to them in my head as I walk around, and I'm sort of talking out loud, and I'm singing to them and all these things. And because there were kid Sasquatches involved in the relationship I was having with them there. And so I told them I was going away for 10 days and that I would be back. So thinking, maybe they wouldn't know that, or I don't know how that works with them, but just I wouldn't be there. So I went down to Palm Springs with my family, and I opened up, my husband's parents have a place there, and I opened the glass doors, and I walk out onto the little patio, and on the grass, there's an X like this, which is often a sign they make with mourning dove feathers. So it's like, haha, here we are, So they can just pop into pretty much anywhere. And I think there's other ways they do it too. I think they use interdimensional type windows and things like that.
And are they representatives of like element? Do they represent kind of the elemental realm? Are they of the earth realm? Are they off-world? Like what kind of is their origin?
That's an excellent question. I'm going to say all of the above.
Okay.
So
Like us.
they can pop in and out of the, yeah, like some of us. So they
Yeah.
can pop out and in and out of the elemental realm and our realm at will, basically. So they're an excellent ambassador between the two for people. And it's really beneficial for humans to cultivate a relationship with a Sasquatch in this way because there's so much they can do to facilitate that relationship back and forth. But again, they have been here longer than humans, and they have originated from a planet. Now, different people call this planet different things. I know it as Aria, but other people call it different things, and I think it often starts with an A as well. It's kind of like the Sasquatch names. Names don't even really mean that much, as long as it's carrying the energy of that being. So yeah, those are the things that I know about it so far. Because I feel like it's a never-ending rabbit hole.
What's funny is that Sasquatch keeps coming up like the last few weeks. So now I'm there going, I'm pretty sure there's somewhere in our property of land where I need to go have a look for them. So this is what I'm already getting because we have a lot of nature, we have a lot of bush, we have a lot of trees, like they'd just be at home here. So I feel I need to go.
Chances are good.
Chances are good. I had someone tell me the other week that they like peanut butter cups, Reese's peanut butter cups. Is that true?
Well, let's just say this. I've heard they enjoy peanut butter before. Peanut butter cups then would make sense.
Yeah.
I've heard they like chocolate, so that all makes sense. I know they've taken chocolate from me before. But I feel like it's more this way, is that it's not Sasquatch likes this. It's that they're like people in that way, that they have their own likes and dislikes. There'll be some that like that and others that don't. You know what I mean? So a blanket statement isn't really doing the whole thing justice. You know what I mean?
I do.
With anything, it's just like people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just because one person likes peanut butter cups doesn't mean the next person will like peanut butter cups.
No, the next person may not. They might just look at those and go, why did you give me those?
I am allergic.
Exactly. Who knows, right?
How rude are you being? Exactly. And let's talk about fairies. I love fairies. I was sharing some of my fairy stories with you before we jumped on. For anyone who is like, oh, that's just something we made up in childhood, what can you share with them about that kind of insight?
Well, they tend to show themselves, I think, to younger people because younger people are closer to them in frequency than adults. Also, it's like I think they're showing themselves, and whether you can actually see them is dependent upon what's going on inside of you as far as your availability for that, whether you have blind spots and resistance to it, what frequency level you're functioning on yourself, and because that frequency shifts as we get older and different things happen to us, and we're very much farther away from that as a rule. Well, present company accepted.
But it's amazing how many people I will talk to and I'll say to them like, oh, I feel like there's fairies there. And they'll actually agree before they then think about it.
Before the filter comes on.
Before the filter comes on, right? Especially, when you see those beautiful like mossy places and it's got all the little rocks with the little holes. And you're like, yeah, that's where the fairies are 100% hanging out,
100%.
But I've even had fairies. I had a session with someone on the weekend and I said to her, because she loves nature, like she really honors, she's like works a lot with lions really energetically. And I was like, the fairies want a place in your backyard. And she's like, what? And she goes, I'll take you out. So she's carrying the computer and she's like, where do they want to go? I said, that back corner. That is what they were showing me, because they were showing me that there was something there, but it kept disappearing. And I said to her, have you got like a little rock kind of thing with water or anything? She's like, no. And then I understood because it wasn't there yet. That's why it was coming and going. And I said, if you want to honor nature and let nature hold you, because that was the big thing coming through, you need to start by honoring the elementals and honor the fairies. And this is what they want you to do. And she's like, I can do that. That sounds amazing. I was like, yeah, I think it'll look great in your backyard.
It's great. She's on board with that.
Yeah. And I guess it's like just allowing that space to, and I often find that I see them the easiest kind of that point of like, they come to me the most at dusk, when the light's playing on the leaves, and that's when I
Oh,
often
yeah.
see them jumping around in the trees and
Hmm.
playing around that way.
Yes, they love that golden light. It's
Yeah.
like a frequency match for their realm. I have some video and stuff of one in golden hour. I call it golden hour.
Yeah. Did you want to
Yeah,
share? Because I know you wanted to share some.
sure. It
If
just depends on
anyone's,
how much you want me to share. Just
oh,
get
it's
started
okay.
and you can stop me when you're ready.
For anyone listening to this only, you'll have to go and log on to YouTube and find where we're showing this footage. Because if you've
Right.
been curious about fairies, or there's just that inner child in us knows that they're real. It never goes away. This is why we're drawn to magical things and in nature, and we're always curious. That's what I believe anyway.
And you're right. If you have that curiosity, it doesn't go away. It's in there. You can't
Yeah.
you can't get rid of it.
100%. I'll just say, if you're a mum listening to this and you want a really fun activity to do with your child, get
Yeah.
some natural clay, make little homes for the fairies, I buy like the really tiny little crystals. They love that. Put them in the house, and you can just go trust where you feel pulled to put it in the garden. And they will love you for that. Even sometimes I'll bake cookies and then I'll hear them saying, "We want one too." And I'll go leave a cookie for them in the place that we put these little things. And I have to share this story. So my son and I made this really cool, because I run nature camps with kids where we go out to the bush, and we were making things out of clay. And so my son made this really cool looking house, and it had like crystals in it. I said, "Oh, the fairies would love that." So we went and put it out where the fairies hang out. And the next day I went back, and it had moved a meter, or like, I don't even know what that is in metric, about that far. Without any drag marks, without any prints around it or anything, to the left. And they went, "We prefer it over here." And I was like, "Okay." And I came in and I
Wow.
told my husband, and he's like, "There was no drag marks." I said, "No, go have a look. Like, go have a look." And he's like, because it's in like a kind of a sandy area with a rock overhang, and this is why they like it. And there's like ferns in front of it. Anyway, and it got dragged. And he's like, "There's no way that an animal could have done that." I said, "I know." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Hmm." So, and it's funny because sometimes I'm like, I'll be cooking. They're like, "Oh, we want one of that." And I'm like, "Oh, do I have to come out there, or will you be insulted if I just throw it out the window?" 'Cause I can throw it out the window. They go, "No, no, you can throw it out the window." And I was like, "Okay, here you go." If I haven't acknowledged them for a while, they get really cranky, and then they'll start to be a bit mischievous,
Well,
making
that's
things
funny.
disappear. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Is it
Okay, I think I have this working now.
okay?
I'll just share my screen. Okay.
Perfect. I know we even did a test run before.
Well, it's this whole it doesn't matter how much I
Yeah.
test things. Just get this thing just decides it's not going to work. Okay, so this little blob right here, now hopefully it works again when I try to get
Yeah.
this cursor moving, is the fairy. There we go, it's going to move. Okay, so you're going to see her go onto this
Oh
tree. So
my
this is what
goodness.
started happening to me after the Sasquatch experience. So one day the wetlands was closed, and so then I walked up a mountain because I needed to go for walks. I walked up this mountain and I decided to come back with my daughter, but I came back with my brother, I think, this time. And I gotten some wings in a tree the first time. But when I came back with my brother, this was very taken from very far away. But I could see this little blue blob, and I'm thinking, what is that little blue blob? And just so you know, I know people think, okay, it's AI and all that stuff. This was happening before all this AI. I think this was 2020. Not that AI wasn't a thing. I would have no idea what to do with AI.
Yeah.
This was
No.
taken on my iPhone, and that's what I used to get all these pictures. But they just started doing this for me, which was incredible, and they're still doing it. So this fairy's name is Francesca, and she's the fairy queen. You can see, you probably can't. You need a big screen for this.
Yeah.
But I've done painting so that you can see what it actually looks like, so you can get a better idea. But she's got this little floaty crown on her head. It's like spaghetti almost. It's floating around when she moves. And here are her wings, and they're actually moving. That's kind of why they look like little tubes. This is her arm. This is her dress, which is breaking at the knee. You can kind of see there's a shadow here.
Yeah.
Um, and then she's going back and forth off the tree.
Look at that.
And the other thing that is interesting about this video is this other being that's over on the side here. So can you see his face?
Yes.
So if I go back and forth, watch his eyebrows go up and down. So he's scrunched his face up there. And now his eyebrows are flat. And you see them scrunched up again.
Oh my
And now his
goodness.
eyebrows are flattened up. So this is, okay, let me just say this. I've taught a course on how to photograph fairies so people can learn how to do this. It's not just something, they've given this to me as a tool to help me teach other people, basically.
Yeah.
But that course will be online again soon for anybody that wants to retake, like it'll be as a video so people can take that course. It's called The Real World of Fairies, Photographing the Unseen Realms, and it will be on the Lightbody Academy website coming up soon. But that's Francesca.
Yeah.
And here's the painting I did of her. So you can go back and forth and sort of see, here's her wings. I drew them flat just so you could see what they actually look like.
Yeah. They always make me think of dragonfly wings. When I think of dragonflies, I think of fairy wings. Like just that similar, translucent, glimmery. Yeah.
And there's this twirly thing with the twirly things on her head. And she's actually got a second set of wings. And I have another video where you can see those better. It's exactly like this one. So I use this taking a live shot. If you have an iPhone, there's a live shot setting, which takes a 3-second video clip.
Yeah.
And in the second clip, and they were like, I'm just going bing, 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 taking these pictures. She had had time to go out and come back in again and show a different thing where her wings are actually still like this, but she's in almost exactly the same position. But that just shows you how fast they go.
Yeah. But they are that
Francesca.
fast when you see them like bouncing between the trees. The image of the being with the eyebrows, is that a Sasquatch?
Yes. No, but that's a Sasquatch-like being. So
is it
in
a
that
tree
realm,
being? Sorry.
No, I don't think it's a tree being. I think it's a Sasquatch-like being.
Okay.
Because there are many permutations of every different thing in that realm. Like there's like hybrids and there's different conglomerations of so many different beings. That looks very much like a Sasquatch, but is not a Sasquatch. The Sasquatch that I know up here, so let's just say it's a cousin, Sasquatch cousin. Much, much smaller than a Sasquatch. That being would probably be, because she's 2 feet, that one would probably be 3-4 feet tall. But Sasquatch are generally here have hairless faces for the most part.
If you look just behind Francesca, like on that photo, there's a face there too. Like
right here? Yeah, well, there's a lot. I mean, when you start looking at some of these, you can start seeing all kinds of things. Those two are just super obvious for people. So what I've also learned is that depending on the blind spots and resistance people have to seeing this, because this cracks through a lot of, like for you and me, this is no big deal, right? For lots of people, it's like, I can't see that, even though to me and you, it's plain as the nose on your face. They might see a shape. They might see part of it. They might not see all of it. So what I've learned is showing this painting to them helps them see what's actually there. So for me and you, like again, it's not so hard, but it takes people sometimes a very long time to get through all this sludge that's within them to actually see things. So that's why I'm doing a lot of what I'm doing, because this is getting more people sort of wakened up, you know?
Yeah, and there's that big push that we need to reconnect back to these realms and honor them
Precisely.
again.
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like that's what we're all trying to do, you know?
Yeah. But I love this because I keep seeing all these faces in the trees around me and bushes and everything. And it's a new thing that's just started to happen. I went through like a frequency upgrade and I could just see all these faces. And I was like, oh, they're tree beings, but they're not tree beings. So that's why I was asking you about the face, because that's kind of what they look like. But they change every day. They're never the same expressions, or they're never the same personality, because I already saw faces in trees. Like I can look at a tree and find a face in it straight away, and then if they let me, I can connect with the tree. But this is like another level on top of that, and it was serendipitous because just this time last week I was talking to someone. He's like, the elementals are asking you to channel their language. And I'm like, and then now I'm having this interview with you a week later where you're capturing the photos, but apparently I have to bring forth the language. But I love that so much. And I can see I'm going to show my son this replay later when we finish recording because he'll love this so much. Yeah.
Well, there's more. Well, there's
Okay.
lots more. I have so many of these. This is just a small fraction of what. Anyway, here's the next one. These are just some of the ones that I find that are easier for people to actually see. So this is golden hours again. So this again, golden hour, perfect time. This is the fairy over here on the right. I call her Skater Girl because she's wearing a little beanie or a toque. And she's on her back and she's going to do a barrel roll over this water. So a barrel roll, if you don't know about planes, you're on your back and then you flip over to your front and then you're on your back again. So there she is. She's going to come across. There she's on her front. There she's on her back again. And I'll just go through that again. And all these little things you see back here, these are all fairies. So I'm very conscious of when I take these, of peeking above the camera to see what's going on. None of this you could see with your naked eye.
Yeah. It's really fascinating because a few full moons ago, I took a photo and it actually caught a completely different dimension, the photo.
Yes.
And it wasn't my house, it wasn't anything. I was just purely taking a photo of the moon and it ended up being a completely different dimension. So it's
Yep.
interesting what our technology can now capture without us
Yep.
realizing what it is. Whereas someone would try and argue to me it was the reflection of the window where I was standing, but I'm like, but that's not my house on the inside. That's
Yeah, exactly. And
um
these things will happen. And the more that you have access to that clear, clean, impeccable sort of energy within yourself. So we teach this too in Lightbody Academy. The more that you can immerse your field within that, it's like a joyful impeccability that you immerse your field in. And that is attractive for anything that is at a frequency match for that. So you will get more and more and more stuff on your camera if you can cultivate that. Here's a close-up of her. So here's the hat, here's her arms and her wings. I mean, these wings are amazing. And her body. And I've got more close-ups here and then a painting again. So that here, some people can see this better when it's a little bit farther away. Some people better when it's close-ups. That's why I have all these things. Anyway, there's her hat. And if you can see this close enough on a big enough screen, there's two dots right here. You can see her eyes very clearly. And then her body. And then here's the side by side where you can see what's there. And this seems to really help people. And then they go, all of a sudden, "Oh, I can see it." Whereas you can probably see that very well yourself.
Yeah, which is beautiful.
And of course, I've added things like the buttons,
Yeah.
But also they seem to manifest out of this field of plasma. And I've got another one in a different file if we have time. That's why I have this sort of golden light around them, because they either manifest more or less within this sort of plasma field. And sometimes they've used it, most of it up, like here. And sometimes they're just inside it and it shows up all around them. So there's that one. But again, taking pictures at golden hour is really great. My daughter actually took this one. We were up at this. So this is an ongoing place where I interact with them a lot. This is a bona fide fairy portal. You can see there's this big hole, but I'm just going to get this to move. There, it's moving. Oops.
I just heard they decorated it with the flowers at the top too.
I call these two Tibby and Tansy. Sometimes they give me their names. Other times I just sort of give them one.
Yeah.
But there's one going into the hole. That hole is about 2.5 feet, maybe 2.25 feet big. It's way bigger than it looks. And these guys are about 2 or 3 inches, maybe. There you'll see them. This one's going to go right into the tree, or comes right out of the tree, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see, right there. So they can come out of that hole or they can come out of the tree itself. It doesn't matter. But again, there's something else I want to bring your attention to is look at here and here, and you're going to see this light up with red light. So you can sort of see it there. I'll just back it up where it's really dark. Okay, now you can see it as it starts to light up. You see how bright some spots are?
Yeah.
Here and here. And I'll keep going because it does that twice. It's going to blink out. Now it's going to do it again. Right there. Do you see that?
Yeah. I can also see there's guardians in there as well. So there's like a face up near the top, and then there's actually one in the moss, and they're almost like guardians of the portal.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah. The thing is, these things are full of beings. If you
I
just sat
know.
down with them and just, but I'm just trying to help people with the basics, right?
It almost
Um,
looks like the whole thing looks like someone bending over, holding space, and then the gap in the bottom where the fairies are coming in and out looks like a space between the legs.
yeah, I can see what you're saying. It's a pretty incredible place. So that's them. And then I decided when I saw her coming out of the bottom. So the first, that one's going in. And
Yeah.
as that one's going in, there's a teeny tiny little one right here coming out. And I thought, I'm going to try to see if I can capture her because she'll be slower on the uptake than going in. And sure enough, here she is. So you see her
Wow.
arm
She's
and this pily
beautiful.
thing, this is her hat, which kills me. Look at this. And her vest. And this is her face looking off to the side. And again, this just helps people see what's actually here. But she's tiny. And I was shocked. The night I found this, I couldn't sleep. It's like, wow.
I
Because
love
this is
it.
just starting to happen. So that's those two.
Amazing. As much as we could look at fairy pictures all
Oh, and it's
day.
probably time
Yeah.
to shut it
Yeah.
down. Just wanted to give you this clip so you could see
Yeah.
how big this tree is. This person is about 5'9".
Yeah. Yeah.
And this tree is huge, and it's got two giant trunks that come out of there's one and there's one back here.
They're
It's absolutely
twins.
immense.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, I'll stop my share.
That
Yeah,
we
it definitely
want you
could go
to.
on and on. There's
I
so
know.
much.
I could happily just watch pictures of fairies all day, but as we start to finish our time together, which I love this so much, like this is so cool. I do ask my guests that come on the show if you could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
Well, I think my answer to that was that everyone would wake up to their multidimensional capacities so that we can have these relationships out in the open and we can start to change things around here, and make this world a better place for everyone, not just us. Because what people don't realize is what we do here affects them in those
Yes,
realms.
100%.
Yeah, you say that.
And if people want to come and learn about how to take photos of fairies, which is so cool, or connect with you or come work with you, where's the best place that they can come hang out with the world of Laurel?
Well, go to lightbodyacademy.com and scroll down to what's called the Elemental Realm Portal. It's the only thing green on the page. Everything else is shades of purple and peach and everything. So it's a little green rectangle. It's called the Elemental Realm Portal. You click on that and you can go down, and eventually the course will be on there again. It's not right now because they're just getting it ready for putting it online.
Yeah, by the time this comes out. That's what they're telling me. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's go with that. And then in there, I do something called Forest Wisdom Circle, which is the first Thursday of every month at 9 a.m. Pacific time, where I help people and help them and nurture their connections with these beings and help them along with that. And we have some really nice people there, a wonderful group that they're all on different parts of their paths with their connections with elementals and Sasquatch.
Beautiful.
So,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that so
Yeah.
much. And I guess for anyone listening, we actually all have the ability to connect with nature. You just have to
Yes.
remember. You just have
Exactly.
to remember again. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Laurel, for being on the show, for sharing those fairies. I was like, this is what I see.
Yes, I know it's such a great thing to be able to see it,
Yes.
It's so helpful for people. I'm really happy I
100%.
could do that.
100%. Thank you for sharing that. It's so beautiful and amazing. And for anyone listening, if you want to get in touch with Laurel, I'll put all the details in the show notes below. And also, if you like this episode or you want to share it with someone, please do, because it will get Laurel's work out there. It'll get our voices out there. So please like, subscribe, or share. And definitely tune in and go learn how to talk with the fairies, or just play with it. Have fun. Try. Leave a
Or join
little
us in Forest
offering.
Wisdom Circle.
Join in Forest Wisdom Set 100%. Put yourself in spaces that allow you to be that beautiful inner child again and have that wonder for nature so that we can learn how to honor and remember.
That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.